Okay, so today I want to give you guys a full comprehensive breakdown of the Trading 212 app for those of you guys who are new to investing and want to get started. We'll talk about all of the key features on the app, including Trading 212 pies, how to buy and sell shares, investment options, and much more. Now, there are many different investment apps out there, but why exactly do I use Trading 212? Well, firstly, they're a commission-free investing app who are regulated by the FCA and have client fund protection by the Financial Services Compensation Scheme. They're held to the same high regulatory standards as the big UK banks, so from an investor's point of view, I can certainly trust Trading 212 with my funds, just like I trust many of the other big UK banks too. Not only that, but they've also got 2 million other clients with over £3 billion in assets under management and a pretty good Trustpilot score to go with it. I've been using Trading 212 for about 3 years now, and they're probably one of the best in the business. So because of that, today I'm going to share with you guys the app itself. So let's take a little bit of a deeper dive into it. So first things first, when you log into the Trading 212 app, and be sure to use your two-factor authentication, the first thing that you're going to stumble across is a bit of a portfolio view, which shows you the portfolio value that you have, along with the amount you've invested and the rate of return as well. But there's quite a lot going on here, so let me break it down feature by feature. At the top left-hand side of the screen, you can see a little ISA icon, which is the account type that I'm personally using. Now, if you're an investor looking to use Trading 212 for the purpose of long-term investing, then the two accounts that I'd focus on is the Trading 212 ISA account, or if I just scroll along, you've also got the Trading 212 Invest account as well. So the question is, what do you use, the ISA account or the Invest account? Well, the ISA, also known as the Stocks and Shares ISA, is a tax-free investment account where you can invest up to £20,000 per year. It's a fantastic way to invest your money completely free of capital gains tax if you're a medium to long-term investor. However, it is worthwhile me saying that you can only invest into one Stocks and Shares ISA per tax year. So if you currently have another ISA provider held with another broker, then you'll have to wait until April this year to actually transfer that ISA and essentially start a new ISA account as soon as the new tax year begins. So that's the ISA account, but what about the Invest account? Now, the Invest account has the exact same functionality to the ISA account. The core difference, however, being that with the ISA account, whereas that's tax-free, the Invest account isn't. So you will be liable to pay tax on any capital gains when you're above the threshold. However, one of the benefits of the Invest account is that you can invest an unlimited amount of money per year, so you're not capped at that £20,000 per year limit that the ISA account has. So it really does depend on individual circumstances on what account would work best for you. For me, the ISA account works best, but I'll leave that down to you guys to decide which one works best for you. Now, the next icon along, you've got the free shares. Now, if I just click on the three dashes at the bottom right hand side of the screen, and if I go on to use promo code, if you guys actually open an account with Trading 212 and enter the code Mitch, once you've done so, you'll get one free share valued up to £100. So I'll leave a link down in the description below to help you guys get started building out your investment portfolio. But that's not all the free money on offer, because once you've actually opened your Trading 212 account, you will also get a free shares link, which you can actually share with friends and family. So technically speaking, if you did this with perhaps 10 of your mates, you could get anything between £80 up to £1,000 worth in free shares. Now, in order to get your free shares, you also need to fund your account too. Now, to do this, you need to go back to the portfolio view tab and click on your account value at the top of the screen. And what you can also see, a bit of a bonus tip here, you can see your ISA utilization for the year. So you can see I've used 39% of my current ISA allowance. Hopefully we'll get that up a little bit more before the end of the tax year. But then we need to deposit funds by clicking on that button. So once you've hooked up your bank account, then you just need to click through and then you can deposit any amount that you wish. But just for the purpose of an example for today's video, if I'm just going to put £100 into the account, and then that will take me to my bank account to authorize the amount. So now that's done, you can see the deposit was successful and £100 has been added to my Trading 212 account. Now, in order to find where that cash has actually gone, if you click at the top of the screen, you can see it in the free funds section, which as of right now for me, I've got just over £1,000. Now, of course, once that money is in the account, the next thing that you're going to want to do is invest it. And at this point of the video, I'm going to assume that you've done all of your due diligence and all of your research on some of your favorite stocks that you want to invest in. Because remember, when you're investing, your capital is at risk and the value of your money may go up as well as down. So with that quick disclaimer out of the way, now let's click on the search icon to actually look at our options. Now, Trading 212 have over 12,000 stocks and ETFs that you can invest into that are available on the app. However, helpfully, they've split this down into stocks and ETFs individually. You can click across one to the other. along with they've separated it into some subcategories as well to help refine your searches. So as an example, you've got most popular shares like Amazon, Apple, Tesla, Alphabet, Meta Platforms, and Microsoft, which seem to be very popular on the app. Along with, if you go over to ETFs, you've got some of the equity funds on there too. Some of the common ones include the Vanguard S&P 500, got the iShares Global Clean Energy, Vanguard FTSE 100, FTSE All World High Dividend Yield ETF, and so on and so forth. But if you haven't managed to find your stock within any of the subheadings, you can also click on the search icon at the top and click in the name of the stock that you want to search for. So let's just search for Apple stock for the purpose of today's video. I'm going to click on the little icon there and it'll bring up all of Apple's details. So you can see the stock price. You can also flick through the different time frames to see the historical performance of Apple shares as well. And then scrolling down, you can see the investments that I have within Apple too. Scrolling down a little bit further, when you're doing that due diligence piece and looking at some of the key financial metrics, you've got some here which include the price to earnings ratio, the earnings per share. You've even got a dividend yield in there too, for all of you guys who are looking at making investments into dividend paying companies. But you can also then go on to click on more ratios, which will give you so much more data for you to go through and do further analysis before you actually go on to invest in a stock. Now, I'm not going to go through all of the details, but just be aware that they are on the app, just in case you want to go on to do more analysis before you start to invest. Now, once you've done your analysis, it's then time to actually buy your first stock. And to do this, well, it's pretty self-explanatory. All you need to do is click the big buy icon at the top of the screen there, and then you've got a couple of options. First up, you've got a market order, which is essentially just buying into the market as of right now, an instant execution based on current market prices. But you've also got something called a limit order too. Now, the way a limit order works is, let's say Apple stock price as of right now is $150.83. But let's say that you only wanted to buy Apple stock if it were to come down to $145 instead. What you can actually do is select the number of shares, and then you can input the price that you want to pay, and then expect the expiration date for the end of the day, or set whatever time frame that you want. And some people can use this as an option in order to get potentially a more favorable price when they're investing into a company. But for me, I do like to keep things simple, so we are going to use just a market order today, which you can either use by value or number of shares. So I can either buy, one share in Apple, which is £123, or I can do it by value and say, actually, I only want to invest £100, which I've deposited into the account today, which gets me 0.8109 of a share. Now, the 0.8109 of a share is something called a fractional share, which I think from a personal finance view is so much better for people to actually get into a good habit of investing. Because usually when you budget out of your monthly payslip to invest into your investment account, you usually do it in monetary terms rather than thinking, I'm going to buy 2 shares of Apple this month. So with the fractional share feature, you can actually just consistently invest that £100 a month or whatever that amount is for you. And you don't have to worry about rounding up or down your money in order to get one whole share instead. So as of right now, let me make that investment of £100. We'll review that order and we'll send that buy order to the market. Now, of course, buying shares is one thing, but you may also want to sell your shares in the future too. Let's say the fundamentals of the business have changed, or perhaps it's just no longer aligned to your previous investment thesis that you had, in which case, of course, you can then go on to liquidate your position. Now, in order to do this, it's pretty simple. You just click on the sell icon, and then you can either do it again by value or by the number of shares that you've got within your portfolio. For me right now, I've got 55.2673192 of a share, and I can literally sell as much or as little as that position as I like. However, for me, I'm a long-term investor, so today I'm not going to be giving you guys an example of selling any of my Apple position, because it's an investment that I'm going to hold in my investment portfolio for at least the next few years ahead. So once you've started to build out some of your investment portfolio and started to invest in a few different shares, the next thing that you're potentially going to want to look at is your portfolio allocation. But before we do that, let me just share with you guys my own personal investment portfolio, just to share with you guys what a real investment portfolio looks like and how it fluctuates over time as well. So you can see at the very peak of the market in December 2021, I had an investment return of £7,157, but over the past 12 months or so, with the big market sell-off that's taken place, this investment portfolio, as of right now, is currently down 1.9%. So in terms of those individual holdings, well, most of them is made up in AMD, Amazon, Apple, Meta Platforms, Palantir Technologies, Tesla, Unity Software, and a Vanguard S&P 500 ETF. Now, in terms of allocation, going back to that point, if you just click on the icon at the bottom of the screen, it will bring up your whole investment portfolio and the percentage split between each of the investments that you have. So as of right now, a huge chunk of my investment portfolio, over or close to 50% in fact, is solely made up of Apple and Vanguard shares. Then the remaining 45% or so is across Tesla, Amazon, AMD and Meta platforms, and then we've got a few more speculative plays that are certainly of a lower percentage allocation within my portfolio. Now, it's super useful to have that portfolio allocation to hand because it will certainly help you rebalance your investment portfolio over time if you decide to do so. However, that can be quite a complex and confusing task. So to help you with that, Trading 212 have actually introduced something called Trading 212 pies, which I'm just going to click onto this icon here. And we're actually going to create a pie right now. Now, you can either create your own pie or you can actually open the pie library and actually copy somebody else's within the Trading 212 community. Now, whilst there are plenty of different portfolios out there that you could potentially look to just blindly copy, what I'd always suggest is that you still keep control and accountability of your own investment portfolio. So because of that, I'd suggest use these pies for inspiration, but perhaps just don't blindly copy them, because these are just random people on the internet and their investment objectives and investment goals might not be the same as yours. That's also the reason why I've not created my own pie, because I'm conscious that many people may go on to copy it. But for the purpose of setting one up to potentially better manage your investment portfolio, if you just go back and you can click on that create pie feature, and then you can add your investment instruments. So let's say Apple, we want to add Apple to the pie. And then let's say I've got Tesla as well, and we're going to add Amazon in there too. So just for the purpose of example, let's just say we wanted to have within our pie Apple, Tesla and Amazon. And then what you can do then is you can split your overall allocation. Obviously, you can only have a maximum allocation of 100%. So you can mix up your allocation in order to get your desired investment portfolio split between the different types of equities and investments that you can actually make within the platform. So once you've done that, let's say we want to do 55% Apple, 26% Tesla and 19% Amazon. There's no method behind this madness. I'm just going with it. You can click next, and then you can set up the auto invest feature, which again is really good to help you budget out your monthly payslip to put that money into your investment account automatically. And then it will show you the value projection of that investment portfolio over a long period of time. So if we go right the way out and look at historical data to potentially predict future performance, which isn't always the best thing to do, but nonetheless, it gives us a future portfolio value of £3.27 million if we actually look to invest £1,000 per month and have a £1,000 investment. If though we only had, let's say, £100 a month spare to invest, then that portfolio projection would still be £326,000 at the after 20 years of investing. Once we've done that, we can name the pie Mitch's Pies, and then we're pretty much ready to go. But before you go, guys, there are also 5 reasons why I think everybody should be investing in 2023. So be sure to click on that video next. And with that said, I'll see you over in the next one.